Hello, David here, and the project for today is swapping out a trigger on a modern sporting rifle. I'm using a Brownell's stock number 100-001-695. This is a jarred, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, jarred adjustable trigger. It's going to require some small Allen wrenches for all the adjustments on here, because the adjustments are on this side. Plus a punch to take out the old trigger. Then there's another Allen down here. Got to take the safety out and the grip. Now we'll take the trigger out. Make sure you don't lose the detent and spring that's in the lower receiver. Okay, there's safety. See, the detent is still stuck in there. There it is. This is a SAR engagement screw with an Allen wrench. It's a 1/8 Allen wrench threaded through the pistol grip attachment hole like that. Make sure it can go all the way through the hole up until where the SAR rides. If it doesn't, the rest of the hole has to be threaded. That's 1/4 by 28 threads. Supposed to come up 1/4 of an inch. It's not coming all the way up. I'm going to have to clean those threads with a tap. Okay, the SAR engagement screw now comes all the way up through the grip fastener hole. The next step is to remove the 3 screws, clean them, and I used acetone to clean them. I also cleaned the thread holes. Apply Loctite, reassemble, and screw the screws down so they're flush with the bottom of the trigger assembly. I did everything but the Loctite. Since I moved slow, I was afraid the Loctite was going to set up on me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to Loctite after I do the final adjustment. Put the return spring in the return spring socket, holding it upside down, and lower the receiver over the trigger. Oh, it's over here. Alternatively, you can use a dab of grease to hold the spring in place. Install the original trigger pin. I'm using an Allen wrench as a slave pin. Yeah, went in without beating it with a hammer. How about that? With the 1/16 hex key, adjust the over travel screw at the front of the trigger assembly so the hammer misses the sear edge while the trigger is held in the fire position. So this cannot be done with the hammer in place. So this is one of those operations where you have to keep installing and removing the hammer to get the right adjustment. And that's going to be that screw right there. Got the hammer in, and with the trigger pulled, the sear engages the hammer. So I've got to adjust that set screw so that's not happening. So I'll be back. To get in the ballpark on the adjustment, I'm just using the Allen wrench to make coarse adjustments instead of the trigger pin. It's easier to get it in and out. I'm turning the set screw one turn at a time, and it's still holding, so I need to take out the hammer and adjust it once more. Okay, I think I'm at that point. I got the adjustment right and over travel. Although with the trigger pulled, the hammer doesn't necessarily fall. The adjustment's very touchy. If I were to turn in 1/8 of a turn, everything would lock up. So this is where I have it. I'm going to take the hammer out. I'm going to count the number of turns and turn the screw in a couple of turns, drop some removable Loctite in there, and then take it out a couple of turns, and then test the setting to make sure that everything is still operating. The next step, with the hammer in the cocked position, with an Allen wrench, turn the sear engagement screw until the sear disconnects from the hammer. Then back the screw about 7/8 of a turn. I'm going to do a dry run before using the thread locker, and of course this goes through the grip attachment tunnel. This is supposed to keep the sear from allowing double firing. It's right there. Right about there. Back off. Okay, what I plan to do is I'm going to turn this screw about 3 turns in, drop some thread locker in there, then back it out about 5 turns, and then set it again until the hammer trips, and then back off 7/8 of a turn. Well, it won't go in more than a half turn past the disengagement point. My thought was I didn't want to add the thread locker to the Allen screw and then run it all the way up in the tunnel, and the thread locker would be worn off by the time it got to where it's supposed to be. So I think I'm going to, I guess I'll take it all the way out, drop some thread locker down the hole, and then run it in. Just run it down the side of the Allen wrench. Okay, right about there. Let's back off about 7/8 of a turn. Should be about there. The next step is adjusting the trigger disconnect. With the trigger in the cocked position, turn the disconnect screw so when the cocked position you can push down on the hammer and feel it brush against the hook of the disconnect as much as possible without hooking. So there's the adjustment right there. There's the disconnect hook. There's a part of the hammer. Just has to brush past that. This adjustment right there. Get some light in there. Can you see in there? I'll turn it so it hooks. Okay, now it's hooked. I let it out. It's going to release. There, it just released. Probably brushing too much. It probably has to be more subtle. Probably like that. I'm going to back off the screw a couple of turns and drop in a drop of Loctite. So what that does is it keeps the hammer from releasing while the finger is on the trigger. When you have the trigger pulled back, that disconnector holds the hammer back. So now I got pressure on the trigger. I let off the trigger and it releases. The next step is to install the safety. Put the detent in the hole. Watch out, it's small, you don't want to go losing it. Followed by the spring. That rides in the hole in the grip. Then install the screw that was provided by the company, Jard. it's shorter than the stock screw. Gonna have to kind of fish that down in there, catch it with a screwdriver. Okay, with the safety in, you're not finished. There's an adjustment for the safety. Get a light on here. And it's right underneath the safety. And if you can't turn the safety so the flat is forward, you're going to have to either loosen the hand grip so you can turn the safety so the flat is forward to get to the screw, or you have to take the safety out. Now here it's on safe. And it fired. Which means I got to go back out on the, I have to back that screw out about a quarter turn. But you can't just pull on it once to make sure it's safe. You got to keep pulling on it multiple times and it'll let go. There, it's on fire. No problem with that. Put on safe. See, it went on the third pull. So I'll show you where that screw is. Yeah, make sure you don't lose your detent because they're really small. Okay. There, the flat's forward. And I gotta get the Allen wrench on the screw. It's right there. Let me give it a quarter of a turn outward. Okay, there it is on fire. Safe. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. Okay, I think that's going to do it. What I'm going to do now is take out the safety. I'm going to count the number of turns, and I'm going to put some thread locker on that screw so it doesn't back out. Got the safety adjustment screw Loctited where I want it. It's not tripping the hammer. Put it on fire. Back on safe. Just for the heck of it, I wonder what the trigger pull is going to be. The old trigger was 7.5 pounds. Let's see where we're at here. Two and a half pounds. Almost 3 pounds. 2.5 pounds. That's going to be nice. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more great videos. Thank you. Bye now.
Gun owners of America. Gun owners of America.
Gun owners of America.
Gun owners of America. Gun owners of America.
If you're sitting at home and you contribute to the Gun Owners of America, stop giving.
The only no-compromise gun group in Washington.
They're tougher than the NRA, aren't they?
That's right.
The NRA is bad, really bad. Gun Owners of America is even worse than bad.
We do not support gun control. We do not support gun control fully loaded. We do not support gun control light. We have opposed every gun control at the federal level.
After days of silence following the Las Vegas attack, the NRA announced it was backing new regulations on bump stocks.
Interestingly enough, while the NRA is saying maybe we should regulate, restrict these bump stocks, Eric Pratt says no.